percent, and that is just one product. And you can take any other product, Chair, and we didn't even talk about packaging. There is a whole new packaging because those cement needs to be in different packages as they get taken to the site. Chair, you know, we talk about Juakali industries, and we talk about informal traders, and sometimes we talk about them in abstract form. I have had a chance to interact with them, Chair. And let me tell you, these are some of the hard-working guys, but they do not get a fair share of the shake. And I'll tell you why. We experimented with a group, or 3 groups, of Ngong Road, Kamukunji, and Karibangi, when we did Park Road housing. We gave them $7,000 to do. Chair, we gave them to do doors because we know they already know how to make doors. These guys, that $7,000 came, including installation, came to about 123 million. That's probably the biggest check they had ever seen. But Chair, what is the problem? Is that they know how to make doors, but between them and the user of the door, there are about 5 people who each make more money than them. They are the guys who are having to fabricate the doors, but several people in between are making more money, brokers, than these Juakali people. So how do we then get the Juakali people to formalize? This is what we did. We gave them a contract to do 7,000 doors. It was 123 million. They did the doors, Chair, and I can confirm they did good doors. And they were paid. And Chair, 58 of them ended up being homeowners in the same houses where they were building those doors. And the final thing is, when they got paid, because they were informal, they didn't know about a guy called KRA. And soon, KRA came knocking on their doors to say, you owe me money. And so they came running to me and they said, PS, KRA is going to shut down our accounts because we owe them money. So I had to call the CG then. I told him, these are honorable people. They will pay you because they're still owed a bit of money, but midwife them because now they become new taxpayers. We are talking about 17, 18 million Kenyans who are today maybe not in the tax bracket. If we do housing at scale, we start to bring them into the tax bracket. We can't keep on talking about 3 million Kenyans and we have no plan. This is the plan to formalize them. Give them a product, give them the support, and they will be able to produce. So, Chair, this is the summary. Do housing projects at scale. You're going to create jobs, and you're going to have a very long cash circulation process. Because of time, Chair, if you look at the economics of 200,000 homes, that is per year. If you look at the numbers that I gave, if 200,000 homes at an average of about 2.3 million shillings a house, average, that gives you 460 billion. That is a cost. Out of the 460 billion, Chair, if there is a multiplier effect of 3 times, okay, it means that you have injected in the economy 1.15 trillion shillings. So the levy that we are collecting today, once we scale it up, we should be able to get a lot more money in the economy. Then, Chair, if you take the 10.5% of the mjengo is labor, then it means that we will have about 48.3 billion of money going to wages. So we have got more people coming into the wage bracket. They become more taxpayers. Professor Ndongo is very happy because he's collecting more money, and we are building the nation. And then, Chair, if you look at the average number of formal and informal jobs, you can do up to 2.1 million jobs when you at peak time. So those are the numbers, and I've given the assumptions there. Now, a quick summary of why then this housing levy. We look at it from 2 sides in financing, supply side and demand side. Chair, on the supply side, that is where the developers are. Today, developers are only developing for those who can pay, as I've said. Number 2, they cherry pick. They cherry pick. Why? Because they say money is not emotional. You know, they want to go to where the money is going to give them the highest return. Now, let me demonstrate to you. This year alone, I have advertised so many projects. I'm sure you've been seeing them in the newspapers. The first round I advertised was around Nairobi Metropolitan. I had an influx of investors who wanted to take up those homes. Second round, I went to Western Kenya, Kisii, Migori, all those places. I had one investor out of 55 parcels of land that I whatever. Now, Honorable Wandayi and the people from that block, you're also Kenyans. You also deserve affordable homes. So if today we say, let's go and leave it to the private sector, what is the private sector going to do? They're only going to focus on where they're going to get a return. So that is why this housing levy gives us the ability to be able to build these homes indiscriminately in every part of our country. And that's why I wrote to every member of parliament and I requested that you give us land in your constituency. Think about it. 200 units, Honorable Wandayi, 200 units is average of about 500 million shillings. That is about 5 times your CDF. That means there's going to be so many jobs back at home. There will be lots of industries. Your local hardwares are going to thrive. So, Chair, that's the reason why we need to do something on the supply side, because investors will only focus on those who can afford. On the demand side, though, on the other hand, we talked about low incomes. So the buyers, they lack adequate funding. They do not qualify for mortgages. They walk to a bank and the bank will look at them and tell them, listen, you don't qualify, period. The existing mortgages are too costly. Chair, in this high rising interest regime, I'm sure most of you have got a mortgage. Some of your mortgages have reached 18-20% now as we speak. This government is committing through this housing levy to give every Kenyan who wants, because it is not designed for certain people, it's for every Kenyan. Even social housing will give you a house at 3% fixed until you finish paying, or Jesus comes, whichever comes first. Number 2, if you're in affordable housing, we'll give you fixed at 6% for up to 30 years for you to pay. If you are in market, because majority of the working class are in that market bracket, you're not also forgotten. We're giving you 9% fixed. That is half of what you're paying today in the market. And that has been made possible because of this levy. Because the levy is giving us scale, is giving us cheap funding that we are able to advance to Kenyans. So, Chair, this figure here, I'm just going to say it is the pooling of money from yourself, myself. We bring it together in the fund, and then we are able to give the developer an offtake, so that now the developer does not have to say this Juakali artisan or that Mamamboga cannot afford. What they see, they don't see Mamamboga, they see the fund, because the fund will give them a guaranteed offtake, that if you build these houses according to the contract, we will offtake those units. That's what that slide says in many numbers. And this is the summary of what I've said. We have got various models for social housing, that is for people who earn 20,000 and below. Today, if you earn 20,000 and below, you will get a house which will only pay 3,200 on a diminishing number. That is